And do you think that the strategy that the left used against Trump, whether or not he runs again, to appeal to suburban voters who very much fall into that paradigm of saying, look, we've just got to care for everybody, even though the impact of those policies don't necessarily fall in those sort of upper middle class suburbs where the Democrats get a lot of support. Do you think that is going to start to change now as, not just the vision from the border, but also, what people are seeing in their local metropolises starts to change, and it starts to become obvious that, hey, El Paso, we have a problem?
Yeah, I think it's starting to affect people outside of the border states. It's affecting, obviously, you stated New Yorkers. It's affecting a lot of people in different places. I live in New Jersey. Demographics have changed a lot in New Jersey. And it's not necessarily to say that it's due to illegal immigration or anything, but when demographics change in a wild way, people start asking questions as to what exactly is going on. And I think within the next couple of years, you have to ask yourself, where are these million-plus people actually going? Because they're not all staying in Texas. They're not all staying in the border states. They're going somewhere. And a lot of people are going to start asking questions as to the safety of our southern border. And I really hope to God that there isn't some sort of terrorist attack that stems from the lawlessness that is happening at the southern border and someone coming through, because they've actually caught people doing this.
Well, and I mean, they are really playing with fire there, Adam, as you say, and we all pray that that doesn't happen. But I want to shift gears to Colin Kaepernick, the man who I actually think maybe taught Harry and Meghan everything they know about ingratitude. He's put out a graphic novel about, get this, the egregious treatment he suffered at the hands of his adoptive parents, who he called problematic. Now, you've written a great column in the New York Post where you say that one of the supposedly racially egregious scenarios Kaepernick bemoans from his childhood and depicts in the graphic novel involves his parents not wanting him to style his hair in cornrows. He alleges they claimed it was an unprofessional hairstyle and made him look like a thug. Can you tell us about what Colin is up to with all of this and this very strange sort of public performance he's putting out there, trying to amp up the sympathy and the racial grievance?
Yeah, so within my op-ed, I try to make the point that part of Colin's issue is that he fetishizes Black people. And I understand it in some ways. He's growing up in a white majority area. He looks different than everybody. And it's very easy to say, the other is what I'm attracted to. But the thing is that he kind of extrapolates into adapting to everything that he perceives as being Black, to the point where he just grabs a hold of caricatures. The reality is, if he was around other Black people, a lot of Black people feel the same way as his parents do. Not every Black parent is cool with their kid having cornrows. Some of them think you do look like a thug. And that is something that he clearly does not understand. He assumes that this is only a white concern, when it's actually parents of all races have issues with their kids' hairs.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's been a parent knows exactly what you're talking about. And you also did something here in your column. You put your finger on something. You crystallized a thought that I think a lot of people have, and I think that's the great thing about your writing, is that you said that when there isn't real racism, activists make it up. And you called this imitation racism, i.e. similar ingredients, but not the same flavor. This is a bit of that, but tell us a bit more about that idea, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, when you run out of something and you have an entire industry predicated on having an endless supply of it, obviously at some point you're going to manufacture it. And so the imitation racism is basically finding some sort of microaggression out of anything and everything. So, with Colin's situation, the uncomfortable moments, the ambiguous moments, like his parents not liking his hairstyle, or him being around someone who had a Confederate flag, and he felt uncomfortable. So that was some sort of microaggression that was oppressing him, right? It's a long reach that he's trying to make to come off as a victim in his childhood. So much of it is that he doesn't really have that many struggles that he can point to, because he did grow up pretty privileged.
And he's rich.
He grew up more privileged than me. Yeah, he's rich.
Yeah. Adam, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. You can read Adam's stuff on the New York Post and, of course, at his Substack, where there's a lot of great writers there.